Hello, dear learners. Welcome back to English Learning Podcast, where learning English becomes an exciting adventure. Today, we will tell the amazing life story of one of the greatest leaders in history, Nelson Mandela. This is not only a story, it is a journey of hope, courage, and strength. By listening, you will improve your English words, pronunciation, and listening skills. But more than that, you will feel inspired to dream big and never give up, no matter how hard life becomes. So get ready for one of the most powerful and motivational stories you will ever hear. Let's begin the journey of Nelson Mandela, a man who changed the world. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in a small, quiet village called Mvezo in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. His birth name was Rolihlahla Mandela. In the Xhosa language, it means pulling the branch of a tree. Some also say it means troublemaker. This name would later show his bravery in fighting unfair rules. He was born into the Thembu royal family, which had a strong culture and history. His father, Gadla Henry, was a respected chief and advisor to the king. His family was not rich, but they were respected. His mother, Nosekeni, was a Christian who taught him kindness, humility, and faith. Mandela's childhood was simple but happy. He lived in a mud hut with a straw roof, surrounded by green fields and hills. There was no electricity, no running water, and no modern things. But Mandela felt free. As a boy, he loved running barefoot, herding cattle, and swimming in rivers. He played traditional games with friends and listened to old men tell stories around the fire at night. These stories about brave warriors made him dream of being a leader. His father once told him, "A real leader is not someone who wants power, but someone who serves his people." These words stayed with Mandela forever. When Mandela was 9 years old, his father died. This was very sad, but it changed his life. After his father's death, Mandela's mother took him to live with Chief Jongintaba, a leader of the Thembu. The chief treated Mandela like his own son. Living in the palace, Mandela saw leadership closely and learned about tradition and duty. At age 7, Mandela started at a Methodist school. His teacher, Miss Mdangen, gave him the English name Nelson, as was the custom for African children. Mandela did not understand why he needed a new name, but he accepted it. He worked hard at school. He enjoyed literature, geography, and history, especially stories about African heroes. Mandela later said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." He believed learning could make life better. As Mandela grew, he saw the unfair system of apartheid. In South Africa, black and white people were kept apart. Black people could not vote, own land, or live in the same areas as white people. Mandela noticed this everywhere. At age 16, he joined a traditional Xhosa ceremony for boys becoming men. During it, the elders spoke about their sadness under apartheid. Mandela felt he must fight for justice. At 19, Chief Jongintaba arranged a marriage for Mandela. But Mandela wanted education and freedom. He decided to run away to Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, Mandela saw a new world. The city was busy and full of energy, but also full of struggles. Black people worked hard for little pay and lived in poor areas, while whites lived in comfort. Mandela worked as a night guard at a gold mine while studying. He lived in a tiny room, sometimes hungry, but never gave up. Later, he studied law at the University of Witwatersrand. He was one of the few black students and faced racism, but he became stronger. During this time, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC. This group fought for the rights of black South Africans, Mandela attended secret meetings, listened to leaders, and shared his own ideas. He dreamed of a South Africa where all races could live together equally. This dream guided his life, though it came with sacrifice and pain. In Johannesburg, Mandela lived in a poor township called Alexandra. He worked as a law clerk, learning how the legal system was used to hurt black people. At night, he studied by candlelight. Mandela once said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have made mistakes, but after climbing one hill, I found there are many more hills to climb." His hunger for knowledge never stopped. Mandela and other young activists thought the ANC needed new energy. They formed the ANC Youth League. Mandela's speeches were strong and inspiring. People admired his words about justice and action. He often said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." During this time, Mandela married Evelyn Mace, a nurse. They married in 1944 and had children. Mandela was a loving father, but his fight for freedom took much of his time. He once said, "There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." In 1948, apartheid laws became even harsher. Black people's lives were controlled in every way. Mandela helped lead peaceful protests, strikes, and marches, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's ideas. Many joined, risking jobs and lives. The government answered with violence. Mandela was arrested many times, but never stopped. He said, "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is inspiring others to move beyond it." In 1952, Mandela and his friend Oliver Tambo opened the first black law firm in South Africa. They gave free or cheap legal help to black people harmed by apartheid. Mandela worked in court by day and with the ANC by night. In 1960, a peaceful protest in Sharpeville turned into tragedy. Police killed 69 people and hurt hundreds more. This event shocked the world and changed Mandela's path. The ANC was banned, and Mandela went underground. He and others formed Umkhonto weSizwe, meaning Spear of the Nation. Their aim was not to kill, but to damage government systems that kept apartheid alive. Nelson Mandela became a man the government wanted to catch. He traveled across South Africa in secret, wearing disguises to hide himself. He organized protests and asked people to join the fight against unfair laws. He even traveled to other countries to get support. During this time, people called him the Black Pimpernel because he was so good at escaping capture. But his life was full of danger. He could not see his family, and he knew every day might be his last as a free man. In 1962, Mandela was finally arrested. He was charged with trying to destroy the government and take it down. But even in court, Mandela was brave. He used the trial to speak against apartheid. In one of his most famous speeches, he said, "I have fought against white control, and I have fought against black control. I believe in a free society where everyone can live together with equal chances. It is an idea I hope to live for, but if I must, it is an idea I am ready to die for." The judge gave Mandela a life sentence. He was sent to Robben Island, a hard and lonely prison near Cape Town. Life there was very tough. He worked in the hot sun, breaking stones in a limestone quarry. His cell was small, with no bed, only a thin mat on the floor. The guards were often cruel. Mandela could get only one visit and one letter every 6 months. But he stayed strong. He studied in prison, fought deeply, and made plans. He even learned the Afrikaans language so he could understand his enemies better. He also taught other prisoners to stay hopeful and become leaders. Mandela once said, "I am always an optimist." To be an optimist means keeping your face toward the sun and your feet moving forward. Over the years, Mandela became a symbol of hope for people everywhere. Protests against apartheid grew louder both in South Africa and across the world. Leaders from many countries asked for his release, but the South African government refused. When Mandela was locked away, many thought his fight had ended, but it was just the beginning of something bigger. His time in prison became the spark that started a global movement. Mandela spent 27 long years behind bars, most of them on Robben Island. Each day was a test of strength and patience. The guards tried to humiliate him, but Mandela never lost his dignity. The work was painful, but he kept his spirit strong. He once said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the victory over it." A brave man is not one who feels no fear, but one who conquers it. In those years, Mandela became more than a prisoner. He became a symbol of the fight against injustice. Around the world, people shouted, "Free Nelson Mandela." His name was sung in protests, written on posters, and remembered in schools. While Mandela sat in prison, South Africa was under pressure. The government faced strikes, marches, and worldwide sanctions. Many countries stopped trading with South Africa. Famous singers like Bob Marley and Stevie Wonder made songs in his honor. Even from prison, Mandela's leadership reached people. He found ways to secretly communicate with other ANC leaders. He even began talks with the government. Mandela knew that the real victory would not come from revenge, but from peace. On February 11, 1990, the whole world watched Mandela walk out of prison. He was 71 years old. His hair gray, but his heart strong. His first words were, "I stand before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Now is the time to heal and the time to build." People danced, cried, and shouted with joy. His release was more than his freedom. It was the first step to a free South Africa. But after his release, a big question remained. How could South Africa heal after so much pain? Many wanted revenge, but Mandela spoke of forgiveness. He even met with people who had hurt him. He said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting it to kill your enemy." Mandela soon became the leader of the ANC and worked for the first democratic election. His dream was simple, a South Africa where everyone, no matter their race, could live as equals. In 1994, history was made. For the first time, all South Africans could vote. Millions stood in long lines, waiting hours to cast their votes. On April 27, 1994, Mandela was elected the first black president of South Africa. His inauguration was a moment of hope, watched by leaders from around the world. In his speech, Mandela said, "Never, never, and never again shall one person in this land oppress another." South Africa had a new beginning, and Mandela was at its heart. As president, Mandela worked to bring the people together. One famous act was during the 1995 Rugby World Cup. Rugby was seen as a white sport, but Mandela wore the team's jersey and supported them. This act showed the country that unity was possible. It became a symbol of peace and was told in the movie Invictus. The title came from Mandela's favorite poem, which ends with the line, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." After one term as president, Mandela stepped down in 1999. This showed that real leaders know when to let go of power. In his later years, he worked for peace, education, and the fight against poverty and HIV/AIDS. He traveled the world, met leaders, and inspired young people to believe in themselves. On December 5, 2013, Nelson Mandela passed away at the age of 95. The world mourned him deeply. Millions attended his memorial, including presidents, leaders, and ordinary people whose lives he touched. Mandela's legacy belongs not only to South Africa, but to the entire world. He showed that no matter how hard life gets, hope and strength can change everything. Nelson Mandela's life proves that greatness is not something you are born with. It comes from sacrifice, hard work, and belief in your dreams. His life reminds us, never give up, even when times are hard. Forgiveness is stronger than hate. One person can change the world. Mandela's story is proof of patience, forgiveness, and courage. He stayed in prison for 27 years for what he believed in. When he came out, he could have chosen anger, but he chose peace. He showed the world that even in the darkest times, we can choose hope and love. Mandela's journey was not easy. Many times he could have given up, but he didn't. He knew real change takes time, and he believed small steps could make a big difference. His life shows us that we don't have to be perfect. We just have to keep trying. Mandela said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." This teaches us that mistakes are not the end. Every failure is a chance to grow stronger. No matter how many times life pushes us down, we can always stand up again. His story shows that anyone can be a leader, even in small ways. You don't have to be famous like Mandela. Every kind word and every good action matters. His story is for everyone. It tells us we are stronger than we think. Mandela's fight was not only about South Africa, it was about the world. He gave hope to millions, and his message will live forever. In his own words, "The greatest glory in living is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." This is where Mandela's story ends, but his message continues in all of us. Remember, you have the power to rise above every challenge. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you feel inspired, share this story with others. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more simple and powerful stories.